welcome back to another video and happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday morning right now and I just got dressed and ready for the day. This morning I woke up at like 5:30. I wanted to go on a quick little walk, so that's what I did this morning. I literally only walked for like 15 minutes. I'm not even sure I did a full mile, but it was just good to get up and get moving because I know I'm going to be sitting at my desk all day, which I really want to try and get up and move around a little bit more often because I have just felt like I've been being very sedentary, which I have been. I also put on a little dress today. I tried to look a little bit nicer today. I did my hair and makeup and actually got ready for the day. Along with like getting up and moving around, I just also want to put some more effort into how I've been looking because working from home, I was getting awfully comfortable just chilling in my leggings and t-shirts all day, which is fun and that's fine, that's great. But every once in a while, I need to feel like I'm actually putting some effort into how I look because working from home is really great and it definitely has its perks, but the biggest drawback for sure is not leaving the apartment all day and not socializing with other people. So I feel like at least if I get dressed and like get ready as if I was going into an office, maybe it'll feel a little bit more like I am going into an office. So I did dress up a little bit today. And like I said, it is Tuesday morning. It is 7:23 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and make my morning coffee. I'm going to sit and chill for a little bit before I log on for work. The sun has just come up and the sky looks beautiful. So I kind of want to enjoy the view and enjoy my morning coffee. And then I'll go ahead, get logged on for work and catch you guys up with where I'm at. I just showed a little clip of it, but I actually took my morning coffee outside this morning, and I swear just sitting outside for even like 10 to 15 minutes was so nice. And I don't know why, I just think traveling like really affects me. And not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, we had a long weekend where we were in Nebraska from Thursday to Sunday for Garrett's cousin's wedding. And then this past weekend was the complete opposite. It was so chill and we didn't leave the apartment at all, which was kind of the point. Like we wanted a very relaxing weekend, like myself included. But then all of a sudden, like Sunday night, I feel like I started freaking out and I was like, I have to get out of this apartment. Like I spent the whole week of work inside the apartment. Then I spent Saturday and Sunday all day inside the apartment, and then I was starting a new work week, so I knew like this whole week I was gonna be inside the apartment. So I just started going like a little bit crazy on Sunday and I was like, I have to get out of here. And we did go on like a little drive and that helped. But Monday, I don't know, I still wasn't feeling it yesterday. But then this morning, I was like, okay, I really need to turn my mood around for the week. And I got up, I thought I was gonna do like a full workout. I was up at like 4:45. That didn't happen. I went back to sleep for like another hour and then I got up at 5:45. I only walked outside for like 10 to 15 minutes. I walked around the entire apartment complex in that time. For some reason, I thought that was going to take me a lot longer, but it was only like 10 to 15 minutes. So I didn't get my full workout in. And like I said, I gave myself enough time to wash my hair, put on a little bit of makeup, put on an outfit that made me feel cute. And then I sat outside for a little bit with my morning coffee, and I swear just doing those few things, those few simple things made me feel a million times better. Like I feel better today than I have in the last like 2 weeks. So that makes me really happy. And I had to force myself, like this morning, I had to force myself to get out of bed because I just wanted to sleep in a little bit later. But I was like, no, like I know if I sleep in, if I don't get my little walk in and I don't put an effort to how I look today, my mood is just not going to get any better. So sometimes you just have to force yourself, and it is so worth it. And like I said, like literally spending 10 minutes outside in the morning can have such an impact on your day. So I do feel good. I feel ready to start this day. It is a little bit before 8:30 right now, and I just got logged on for work. So I opened up my Slack and my email, and nothing too crazy has come through. A few messages. I do have a few things that I already know that I can work on today. So first things first, this morning, I am going to open up our contracts listing. I was asked yesterday by my senior manager to go back through and check the contract listing and anything that is under $2 million. So any of our contracts that fall under professional fees, which is the account that I look at, and is below $2 million, our technical accounting team does not review. So honestly, I'm not sure what the difference is between like regular accounting and the technical accounting team. I honestly have no idea, so that's probably a question that I could ask. But any contracts that are above the $2 million threshold, the technical accounting team takes a closer look at and does their own kind of review over. So anything below 2 million, they do not review. So my senior manager asked me to just double check that anything under the 2 million looks good in terms of the start date for our contracts, the end date, and the dollar amount for our contracts, and just make sure everything looks okay. And she said everything should match what's already on our contract listing, but to basically just go through and double check. So that is something very easy to do this morning. There's just a lot. I've mentioned this before in some of my other videos, but we get so many contracts that come through. So that should keep me busy for a little bit this morning. And then the other thing that I want to get done is I was also asked to look at a tab in one of our accrual files. So part of the month-end close process that I assist with is doing accrual journal entries for professional fees. And again, I've talked about this in other videos, but in case you haven't seen that, we have like 60 tabs. So it's like 60 different journal entries for professional fees and contractor fees that we have to do these accrual journal entries for at the end of every month. Now, there is one tab in particular that the senior manager says this doesn't really make sense, and it's just like a lot of information to look at. And she said when she goes in and reviews the file, it's very confusing on a monthly basis to look at all this information. And I was like, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, it confuses me. It's really difficult for me to tell what I'm looking at too, and to figure out the accrual amount and what I'm supposed to be entering for the journal entry, because it's like an overload of information and it doesn't really need to be like that. So she did ask me if I could try and simplify that tab a little bit and just take out any information that might be unnecessary. For example, in the columns, we have 2024 and 2025. But then also in the rows, we have 2024 and 2025. So she's like, I'm not sure why it's broken out that way. It's broken out by the year twice. She's like, so just try and consolidate all of the information. If there's anything that's unnecessary, remove it. So I'm going to try to do that. We'll see. I'll take a look at it. I'll do my best with it. And I'll see if it makes more sense to her after I go through the file. Aside from that, I do have 2 calls today. I have one from 12 to 12:30, which is called our finance jam session. And this is just a chance for the finance team to explain some things that they've been working on. And it's nothing like major. It's nothing that I ever have to speak on or that the accounting team in general really speaks on. It's mostly just our finance team. It's basically just them providing updates. And then from 1 to 1:30, I have a meeting with the senior manager and another manager. She was a senior accounting analyst who just recently got promoted to a manager position. So I'm taking over something for her. So we have a call to go over government surveys from 1 to 1:30. I know nothing about government surveys. I'm definitely not an expert in that area. I've never looked at anything like that. So I really don't know what to expect. Hopefully it's not too difficult, but that will be something that I will be taking over, so that should be interesting. So I'm not sure if that's something that I'll be working on the rest of the afternoon after that call from 1 to 1:30, but if not, I do have a few other tasks that I can use to keep me busy, so we will just wait and see when that time comes. But for right now, I am going to go ahead and get started on taking a quick review over those contracts and diving into the accrual file to see if I can straighten out that tab and make it a little bit easier to understand. Moved around for a few minutes. I heated up some oatmeal and I did finish going through the contract listing and reviewing those contracts to make sure everything looked correct. And now I'm going to jump into that accrual file and see if I can simplify this tax fee schedule tab. So I'm going to do that while I eat my oatmeal. I am a little bit stuck. I tried to work on that file and then I undid all of the changes that I made because I wasn't sure if the invoices that we received could be merged together. Like if we received an invoice in 2024 and one in 2025, if I could add them together, because if that's the case, then I could consolidate the columns. But if not, then I don't know what changes I could make to make the information simpler or to remove any information. So I'm making a mental note. This afternoon, I do have a meeting at 1 to 1:30 with the senior manager, but like I mentioned earlier, the other manager is jumping on that call as well, and that's really to review government surveys. So I might just try and get through that today. And then tomorrow at 1 p.m., I have a weekly meeting with my senior manager. So I might take that time to ask her how I can update this, or if the changes I made were correct and I can add them back in, or if I should just let the file be. I know she said she wanted it to be simplified. I'm just not sure how to do that without removing essential information or without knowing whether or not it's okay to consolidate prior years with the current year. So that will be a question for tomorrow. I'm making a mental note. I need to write that down. That's something that I need. I need sticky notes, because otherwise I forget things. So I'm going to write that down before I forget. And it is just about time for lunch. So I am going to hop on my finance jam session meeting, which is just something to listen into and just chill from like 12 to 12:30 during that call. And then I'll have a little break from 12:30 to 1 before my government surveys meeting at 1 p.m. I did move out to the living room area for a little bit. It is about 12:30 now, and I just finished my call, my finance GM session call. It was pretty interesting. Again, finance was just presenting, and they actually touched a lot on AI, which is something that's always very interesting. I talked about it a little bit in my last day in my life video, my last workday video, just like how they expect us to use it at this company and what their hopes are for it. So that's always a very interesting discussion. That call's over now. So from like 12:30 until my call at 1 o'clock, now I'm probably just gonna chill. I might log on to my MacBook and do some editing and just prepare myself for this 1 p.m. call. I just got off the call with my manager and the other manager, and we reviewed the government surveys. I had no idea what they meant by government surveys. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's different governments sending you surveys to complete. So sometimes they're quarterly, sometimes it's annual. Like it'll be the US Department of Commerce, sometimes it's the Canadian government. So there really isn't a ton, and there isn't a ton for me to do right now. I was a little confused at one point. I was just like, so what exactly is like my role? Like what is my responsibility in these government surveys? So essentially it's just monitoring an email. I need access to the accounting email, and whenever we get surveys that come through, I just have to add the survey onto a tracker and then follow up. We'll see whoever on the team has time to actually review the surveys. So sometimes it'll be me completing them, and I think I'll be taking over the ones that the manager who just got promoted, I'll be taking over hers, and she's the one that like explained it all to me. And then I'll add in any new ones. And there are already other team members that are assigned to complete certain surveys that we know are coming through. So I didn't realize that. I thought this was going to be like a whole new project, like a new process that I was going to completely own. And honestly, I'm okay with that. It's a little bit less pressure on my end. So I'm okay with that. Teamwork makes the dream work, that's fine. But unfortunately, it doesn't give me a ton to do right now. I thought that the rest of my afternoon was going to be filled up. Also, it looks like I'm not working. I obviously just closed everything for confidentiality reasons. I had somebody ask me that in another video, like why I can't show my screen or why I'm just showing like a blank like background. I can't show the numbers, who I'm working for, what we're working on, a lot of sensitive data, just can't show it, which is why I try and do my best to explain everything. But I do have a to-do list because now I need to try and figure out what else I can work on for the rest of the afternoon. So for tomorrow, I can do a year-to-date review. I have that on my list, and I was going to complete this yesterday, but then I read that it says it has to be completed on the 20th day of the month or later. So today's the 19th. I do have that by the end of the week. I should run the GL detail for professional fees, contractor fees, and subscriptions and dues and a few other accounts, and just check them for any prepaids that might have come through for the month. So that's not super urgent, obviously, because it isn't the end of the month yet. It's only August 19th, and I will eventually have to do this process again once everything has been posted for the end of the month. But it's just reviewing the GL detail and any items that, number one, are suppliers that we don't typically accrue for. So we usually have the same suppliers come through every month. We know which ones we're accruing for. So if it's a supplier that looks like it could be new, and anything over $10,000. So our prepaids have to be over $10,000, that's our threshold. So if it is over $10,000 and is not one of our normal accruals for those accounts, then it will need to be marked as a prepaid. So I think that's what I'm going to work on today. I think that would put me in a good place for the end of this week, since I do have a few things coming up that I can work on basically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm just kind of stuck here today with not a whole lot to do at the end of the day. So I think that'll take up a good chunk of time as well. But honestly, I'm going to take a quick like 5 to 10 minute break. I'm going to make a second coffee. I am struggling after lunch. I always get so sleepy. Like this is the worst time, is immediately after lunch. I feel like I usually start catching a second wind at like 2-3 p.m. and then I'm like feeling good till the end of the day. But right now it is 1:37 and I am struggling. So let's go make a second coffee and then we can jump into running the GL detail. I'll tell you, I just have the account numbers written down and I honestly forget what some of these account numbers are. So I'll tell you exactly which accounts I run the GL detail for in order to check for prepaids. Coffee number 2. I think I filled this up way too high. I don't know if you can see it. This one I used the caramel pod and I've never used it before, and I was gonna add creamer in, but then our creamer is like cinnamon coffee cake creamer and that just sounded like a lot. So I have no idea like how sweet this is gonna be because I do like a little bit of sweetness. So I just used regular milk in the frother and added it in. I'm scared it's gonna be so hot. That's actually really good. Okay, good. I'm happy with the coffee, very important. And I looked up the account numbers. So it is the legal and professional fees, contractor fees, general insurance, board of director, and other fees, and then dues and subscriptions. So those are the 5 accounts that I ran the GL detail for, and I ran them for the month of August so far. So I'm going to go ahead and start reviewing. It is over 1,200 line items. So like I said, this should keep me plenty busy for the rest of the afternoon. Okay guys, it is a bit later now. I put on some comfy clothes, I took off my makeup, we are done with work for the day. The end of the day was pretty easy. I just continued to work through that GL detail. I whittled down the list. So I think when I ran the GL detail, it was like 1,200 line items, and I was able to whittle it down to around 30. So for those 30 though, I'm going to have to go in and individually check each invoice to see if it actually should be marked as a prepaid. I don't really have another choice other than going in one by one and looking up each invoice in Workday. And that is something that my manager and the senior accountant told me, that until I learn like the cost centers, the spend categories, just what to look out for. Basically until I know what I'm looking for and get used to the accounts, I'm just gonna have to go one by one, each individual invoice. So that is something that I am going to work on first thing tomorrow morning, and continue checking the August detail thus far to see what line items should actually be marked as prepaids. But I'm really happy with the progress that I made today on those. And I think it'll help a lot come the end of the month because I already got more than half of the month reviewed for prepaids. So I think it'll really help me out a lot. And that pretty much wraps up this vlog. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. And don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.